You may well recognise this as being Red Hill area at Eakring, my favourite watch point for Red Admiral migration. Today I might have struck it lucky. I got here at 11:20 and 3 Red Admirals have gone through already, hugging the ground as they typically do, so it's time to waltz up there a little bit and get set up. This could be a good morning. Still decided on the best place to stand. It may well be here. There's a bit of a breeze. I don't want that to interfere too much with the sound recording. 5 Red Admirals so far now, and it's only 11:25, and a single large white has also gone through. So this looks promising. We had rain in the evening, and it was nice the day before that, and I did get some Red Admirals moving. I had 10 moving through. There's another one's just going through now at 11:26. Red Admiral South at 11:26. And so the weather has been a bit mixed in the last couple of days. So we did have a complete washout of a day a few days ago. And today it feels more like the kind of conditions in which Red Admirals will go through. It feels more like the middle of September. We're on to normal temperatures now. If we get a nice bit of sun, as you can probably see, there's some cumulus cloud in the sky. And hopefully that won't spoil proceedings. But this could be an interesting hour or so. We'll certainly give it an hour, see what happens. But we've had 6 through so far in what's now 7 minutes, and that's good. Well, I've been here 10 minutes. There's another Red Admiral goes through, and that's 11 through so far. And this, if this continues, is going to be a good day for Red Admiral migration. And I really want to try and get some footage of butterflies visibly moving through. That relies on me being skillful enough with the camera and the butterfly being near enough for you to be able to see it as they go low over the ground. They're usually about a foot over the ground, much in the way as that large white is as that goes through there. So that's another Red Admiral and a large white to add to the totals. There's a Red Admiral just coming through. And it'll continue off, and it'll go up and over the hedge. Well, you'll see Red Admiral just going through low over. Oh, in fact, there's 2. There's one beyond it. Problem I've had, there's been an increase in the breeze. That's died down now, but on the plus side, the cumulus cloud has become more broken and has died out. So 2 Red Admirals there. At 12:05. That makes 27 in 45 minutes by my reckoning. And I've had to resort to the trusty little notebook. Good job I always kept this in the car from when Dillis was alive. I used to use this for glowworms. I've had to resort to this because the battery's about run out in the handheld digital recorder. But this does have an advantage, that I keep forgetting the count, and at least with this I can just flick through it. It's a lot easier. But yeah, Red Admirals, we're doing well. We should beat 45 had on August 31st. That's what I'm hoping for. Should be that fairly easy. I think we're on possibly for 50 plus after an hour and a half. It'd be nice to get to 35, something like that, after this first hour by 12:20. But say it did become quite breezy. That's slackened off a little bit now, so that might increase the numbers of Red Admirals. Be nice if they do. We should be heading towards a peak time, usually between sort of 12ish and 1:30, 2 o'clock is often the peak time. And they are further out into the field and they're going a bit more crosswind. The wind today seems to be a bit southeasterly to me, which is good because it's nearly almost unbroken blue sky, so that should encourage further movement. But there is definitely Red Admiral movement occurring today. And if I haven't said so, it's the 15th of September. Another one just going through, just gaining height. Just going to go up and over the trees. Red Admiral just coming across low over the field here. It's 12:37, so nearly an hour and 20 minutes, and that Red Admiral that's just gone through there is the 44th, and that one is the 45th. You may well have seen that before I did. What's been interesting also is that I've had 3 separate individuals of commas. One went through just a few minutes ago actually, and the second one that had go through today went through with the Red Admiral, and they've all 3 have followed the same line, same as the Red Admirals. So there's definitely some movement of comma. Comma movement is unusual, but there are good numbers of commas around here locally, and I've heard from some people that haven't even seen a comma this year. But locally here, comma is doing very well, and the butterflies are still going through despite at times very breezy conditions. So 45 Red Admirals south in an hour and 20 minutes so far. Well, the Red Admiral just going across there, about 4 or 5 feet off the top of the field. Another Red Admiral here, look. Just going through. Quite leisurely at times that, but the flight, whether it's leisurely or purposeful, is always direct. Right, I'm just having a tot up. We're at the hour and a half mark. 51 Red Admirals and about 7 large whites and 3 commas. Red Admirals are still going through. You get more active, well, you get almost coming in like waves, and that's quite typical, but usually it's 1s and 2s mainly. But there has been a period where there's been like 5 through in 5 minutes, or 4 or 5 minutes. But if you get one going through, it pays to keep an eye out and don't write it down straight away, because chances are there's another one with it somewhere. They don't form dense groups, but they certainly form loose groups when on those very special days they're going through at a higher rate. You can get loose groups of 5 to 8 individuals. But 2 or 3 together going through at the same time is quite common, and that's been the case today. I've had 3 on a couple of occasions, and numerous times when two have gone through within the same minute. So the time at 12:52 now, we'll continue to see what else goes through. Well, that was either a worn individual or an aberrant one. There seemed very little red on the forewings of that one. I know you won't have seen it very well, and I didn't have a chance to put the binoculars on it. But that wasn't your normal Red Admiral. Two hours I've been here. 67 Red Admirals have gone through. Again, quite a narrow corridor in the general direction. Is coming from right of where my car is. If you look more long distance than where Lound Wood is on the top of the hill there, they're coming over the bare field. They're coming down this side of Lound Wood and probably picking up the hedgerows here, and then they're coming pretty much up this track or slightly across it, depending on which way the breeze is blowing at the time. But in this last quarter of an hour, 20 minutes, there's one just gone through there. They've gone a little bit more southwest and they're going this side of the track a little bit, so they're going low over this field here. So that makes 68 then. But we're just into the start of another hour, unfortunately. But so we carry on. Two together there. We've just got into a decent spell because I've just had a painted lady go through as well that was hugging the ground and yet went straight through south. And there's been another 2 or 3 Red Admirals other than the 2 that have just gone through here. Well, movement has slowed down, but it's done that before during the course of the 2 hours and 15 minutes. My plan is to see how it goes in the next 15 minutes, quarter of an hour. See whether the movement picks up again. It should do. I'm quite confident that there'll be several more Red Admirals through. And we've done well, really. Painted lady through. I don't know whether I've mentioned that on the film earlier on, but that went through low over this field here. It took me by surprise, that did, because I don't know where painted ladies have gone to. I thought we was going to get a really good year for painted ladies and potentially a good spell of painted lady migration in August, but they disappeared just after the second brood emerged. But that was early July, and look what July was like in the UK, or at least for much of the UK. They needed webbed feet more than wings. But Red Admirals, it's not bothered them. But the movement here has quietened off a little bit. But we're on 13:36. So we'll see what it does for the next quarter of an hour. But this has been by far and above much better than I expected. Never dreamt of this amount going through. I thought there may well be a trickle. But this is very pleasing, and this is the highest count I've had since 2003, although presumably some decent counts that have been missed over the years. You can't be out every day. I did come out here a couple of days ago saying I had 10 go through. Often it's better, Red Admiral migration, if you've had a day or several days of bad weather and the butterflies have to hunker down, and then you get a nice day. That can often trigger movement, and I think that might be what has happened today. So we'll give it another quarter of an hour, we'll see what happens, how many more Red Admirals go through, and then we'll probably call it a day. Well, my time's up, 2.5 hours, and I have had only a couple of Red Admirals through in the last 20 minutes or so, to be honest. So the movement has almost ceased for today. There will still be the odd ones that will still go through because the conditions are just perfect, but I wouldn't have thought I'd end up with a total of 76 Red Admirals. Which reminds me, because people have asked, how do you determine what's a migrant Red Admiral and what isn't? And it's a simple rule, because butterflies don't fly in long distance direct flight across an open field. They may flutter around and go quite haphazard across that field, but migrant butterflies that are heading south are purposeful. And you'll see butterfly after butterfly on a good day like this, moving low over the field or over the ground, all heading in the same direction. And it's a direct flight. They'll only sort of move or diverse from that track when they have to. In the case of trees or shrubs, they will either go over or they will go round, but they will resume the flight, and you can often see that. So I didn't really need these today. I don't know why I bring them, but they always come in handy. The first time I don't bring them out, I will need them. But today the butterflies, as is quite often, as one flies away from us there, look. They're not all migrating Red Admirals, there's more to come yet. But the butterflies again today were on quite a narrow corridor, and that's pretty much through the high points of this area north of Eakring. I haven't seen any down into the lower part of that field. They've all sort of followed this line from north to south. So I look forward to the next day of Red Admiral migration. Don't miss it.